The Land Rover's up for an MOT in a couple of weeks, and without fitting these pipes, you can see, it might fail. So let's take a look, see what they are and how I can fit them. Hi, welcome back to Mike Makes It. You saw a couple of pipes in the garage there. I'm going to fit them to the TD5 today. The problem is the ones that are on the vehicle at the moment are heavily corroded, and it's got an MOT in about a month's time. So I don't want it to fail for that, and obviously the safety aspects. At the minute, the pipes aren't leaking, but they're heavily corroded. We'll get underneath in a minute, you can have a look. But what I've got to do here, there is a pulley for the power steering pump. Behind it, which I don't think you can see at the minute, but down there's a couple of unions that are attached to that pump, and the pipes descend into the engine bay along the cross member and pop up. If I can get a torch on it, there's a big rusty block down there, so we can get the torch just to behave itself. No, it's there. Okay, down there, just about with a light shine on it, big rusty block. Not the best picture, I must say, but that's the head, that power steering head. It's got an arm coming off there that goes off to the steering rack that obviously does the steering. There's two unions go to that and two to the pump. So what I'm going to do is loosen the four ends, make sure I can undo them. I've put plus gas on it, which is dismantling fluid, if you like. Very good. I recommend using that. Not WD-40, that's more water displacement, hence the WD. It does work, but I found plus gas is very, very good. So yeah, I'm going to undo the four unions to make sure that happens. Here first, so I'm going to take the fan belt and the fan off to give me better access to the pump. You can actually pull the pump out forward. There's 4 bolts that hold it on. You may have seen an earlier video where I've actually done that when I was changing an O-ring on the back of this block. So yeah, for access, this is going to come off, and I'll get the spanners out, see if we can get the nuts undone on the pipes. But we'll have a look underneath first, so take a look. Right, we're under the vehicle. As you can see, I'm upside down, so I've got a bit of a dodgy voice. Power steering pump is way up there. You've got 2 pipes here running from it. They run across the cross member, surprisingly, and go off to the power steering unit, which is this rusty block here. You can probably see the arm descended off it. There you go. That goes off to the steering rack. I've got to disconnect 2 pipes on this unit, so you get a light in better position. There you go. 2 pipes off that unit on the right and 2 off the power steering pump. So that's what we're going to do now. Hopefully they'll come undone. I've used the old plus gas to get hold of, get the rust out of the union. So I'm hoping just a quick turn of the spanner and they'll come out. I'm going to drain the power steering pump in a safe manner into an oil container, then can dispose of it. So I think what I'm going to do is try to loosen all 4 ends first to make sure I can get it out. Otherwise it's going to spoil my day if I need a new pump. But that's what I'm about to do. These are the special spanners you can get to remove the viscous coupled fan. Basically, this end will go over the bolts down here and hold the pulley. And the other spanner, the one that's got a bit of a crank in it, will grab hold of the nut. And on my TD5, it's a normal right-handed thread. You can see that's undoing now. On earlier vehicles, I think it's a left-hand thread, so you might have to just double check on yours, but my TD5 2001 right-hand thread unscrews anti-clockwise, so that's what we'll do. We'll carry on unscrewing it, then I'll show you the tensioner that's down there. Right, that's the fan away. Down here is the tensioner for the serpentine belt. It's a 15mm socket, and it undoes anti-clockwise. I say undoes, it's on a spring. You let go, it'll rebound, go back to where the tension was set. You see, if you push it like that, it loosens the tension off the belt. You let go, it retensions the belt. Well, like magic, really. But basically, I'll need 2 hands on this, so I'm going to put the camera down. but I need to go full throw on that to get the belt off. Likewise, when I fit it back on, you really got to go as far as the tensioner will go to actually slip the belt back on. You see, it's a serpentine belt, a bit like a snake, hence the word. But yeah, we get that belt off. Then we've got better access to this pump. You can see it a little bit better then. I think I'm going to drop it forward, take the pulley off at the front. There's 4 bolts on there. 3 bolts on that, sorry. There's 4 bolts on the pump at the back. And we may be able to drop the pump forward unless we can get the bolts undone or the pump unions undone without removing the pump. But we'll have a look once we get the belt off. You can see the pipe just there. That's a flexi pipe that comes off the pump. So yeah, let's get the belt out of the way. Right, with that pulley off, there's just 3 bolts, 10mm heads. Gives you a lot more access to that nut. I call it a nut. It's a pump union connector, a bit like your brake pipe will have, if you see what I mean. But it's 22mm head on it. So I'm going to get a spanner and a little tappy tap with a hammer to see if it does come loose. The second pipe is a return pipe to the pump, which is just held on with a Jubilee clip, so that shouldn't be too bad. Likewise, on the power steering head, you can actually see the top of there. There'll be an out, if you like, and a return. So on there's a flexi pipe again with a Jubilee clip and another screw-in one, but that's 15mm, I believe. No, 14mm spanner you need for that. So we'll see if we get tappy tap on this and tappy tap on the one at the bottom, see if they come loose. If they do, then it's plain sailing. Let's try it. Yeah, that loosened off well. If I can show you. There you go. So that's one worry out the way. Now we get down to the steering head. Right, I got the 2 pipes out without too much hassle. I did have to cut the end off the pipe that goes into the power steering head, because the nut on the end of the pipe is fused to it, so it was going round. So basically cut it off below the position any debris would go back into the power head. So I think we're fairly safe there. I'll say the pipes are out, but there was a bracket, one of these, that holds the 2 pipes onto the chassis. Now the nut there, the bolt that goes into the chassis goes into a captive nut, and that nut is turning in the chassis, so I've had to cut it off. So I'm going to have to refit something similar. And if you look here, did a video on a bigger version of these. Clinch nut, riv nut, whatever you want to call it. It's a tube with a thread in it that the tool compresses, and it pinches into the substrate. You actually push one of those tubes through. And not the best description, but basically that's what it does. And when you pinch on the pliers, in this case, it closes or collapses the wall of the tube there with the thread in it, and pinches onto the chassis in my case. So that's what I'm going to do. Access is a bit limited down there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you what I'm doing, but I've got the very old Roby drill with the right size drill in it. So I'll see if I can pop a hole in the chassis, then put one of these in it, and that'll hold a thread good enough to hold the bracket against the chassis. You can see there what's left of the bolt cut out of the chassis. All I'm going to do is bop a hole to the left of that and put that rib nut in. I need both hands to hold the camera at the minute, so I'm not going to be able to show you me doing that, but I can show you the finished thing by all means. Right, that's got that in. You can see it there. It's only 5mm. I'd like a 6 or 8, but I haven't got the tool to get the access in there. I got the tool, but I'd have to take the engine out to do it. That's a bit overkill, so I'm not doing that. But that's in there. I'm going to thread the pipes back through. I'm starting over from the pump head end up here. You can't, that's a horrible video. There you go. Just about to see it in the dark. There, big rusty thing. Going to thread the pipes down and across. That's the way they came out, so that's the way they're going back in. Right, I'm pleased to say I got all those pipes back in. They weren't too bad to do. I didn't have to take anything else out to put them in, but they did go down here. You've got to put them in this way. You can take them out that way, but they went back in that way, and everything lined up well. But let me show you under the truck. There's an order to put them in. When I say an order, I mean this big black pipe, it's a metal pipe, goes nearest to me, nearest to the ground, and the smaller metal pipe, they're both metal pipes, but there's a smaller diameter one, that goes above the thicker one. I had them the other way round and it wasn't playing ball. So I looked at my own video, worked out what had gone wrong, and swapped them round. There's the bracket that I couldn't get the bolt out of, that I had to cut off. Rib nutted into the chassis, that's working fine. And the other pipes you can just about see here. I can't turn the camera because I'm stuck in the cross member, but they disappear up to the steering head itself. If I pull that out of there, I can now move about. They go. You see a bit of red tape. I put that on to protect the paint when I was pulling them through. There's the steering head. I'm sure there's a better word for it than that. Steering box even. That'd be the right word. So that's all in now. I'm just going to show you back up on the top. If you excuse me, 2 secs. Right, back up on the top looking down. You can see the nice shiny pipe at the end of my finger. That's going back into the steering box and nicely runs away down the chassis. This flexible pipe is the reservoir input, the fluid input to the system. I've got it connected back up to here now. Jubilee clips ready in my hand. But I thought I'd just show you that before I put the reservoir back into place, because it will obstruct things. So yeah, I'll do that and put some fluid in it. Right, everything's back together. We're ready to put power steering fluid in. It goes in here on the left hand side. Now what Haynes say is fill a reservoir up to the maximum level, start the engine. The fluid level will go down quite quickly because the pump's going to be working and the system's going to have a lot of air in. Keep putting power steering fluid in until it's stabilised, i.e. the maximum level. Keep the wheel straight all times. Don't turn the steering wheel. Alright, warm the engine up. When the engine's up to normal running temperature, Haynes say turn the engine off. Go back and check your level of fluid, and if that's still okay, then you turn the engine on once more. Only idle it, don't do any faster, don't go revving it, it's only got to be idling, okay? And the steering wheel must not be touched. Down on the steering head, down there, there's a bleed screw. Basically undo that a little bit until you get fluid flowing out of it without any air, so air-free fluid. Once you've got that out, mop it up, tighten the bleed screw. Now you turn the steering full left hand lock, holding it for a few seconds, then full right hand lock. Check all your unions, that make sure you've done them up, make sure there's not power steering fluid squirting everywhere. Don't hold your steering at maximum left or right hand lock for more than 10 seconds, you're going to damage your hydraulic pump. Okay, then go back, have a look, you're still up to maximum in the fluid level, fluid reservoir, and if you are, jobs are good. So having done all that, let's put some fluid in it without getting it all over the floor. Should get a funnel, but I think we'd be okay. We are okay. So I'm going to start the car now. I'm going to go through the procedure I've just told you. If everything's good, I'm going to put the serpentine belt back on and say it's a pass. So I'll do that now. If anything weird happens, I'll show you weirdness. As I've been topping up, the reservoir's going down. You've got air bubbling up through there. So yeah, just fill it up slowly, up to the maximum level. Once it's stabilised, we can then start the engine after I've put the serpentine belt on. Did say I was going to start the engine before, but clearly the power steering pump is driven by the serpentine belt. I'll need to put the pulley back on there, so I'm one step ahead of myself. I'll put the pulley back on the power steering pump, get the belt on, check the fluid level, start the engine. In that order, Mike. Right, truck's all back together, bled and fed. It's all good, all running. Thought we'd just have a very quick look at the whole reason for swapping the pipes out. If you can see there, just going to get the light on it a bit better and zoom in even. Bit of crustiness going on. Now, I think maybe this year that would have failed the MOT. Most of the other pipes corroded, but not as bad as that. You can see there, if that was a brake pipe, that wouldn't have passed last year, let alone this year. So that's the reason for swapping it out. The fatter pipe, this is going to be the return pipe that's under low pressure, relatively speaking. That's in good condition. So I needn't have swapped it really. It's a bit gummy at that end. But no real rust signs. So yeah, I could have not swapped that. But hey, they run alongside one another. They weren't super money. So yeah, change them both. That's what I've done. Anyhow, bit of a rambling video, but you saw what I did. If you found it interesting or you want to comment, feel free. Thumbs up would be great. Subscription will be even better. Thanks very much for watching Mike Makes It.